Throw them buffs on MP. We're in the deep.
We know MP came ready to play.
And a little glimpse, a little feel of basketball fever. These fans are feeling it in anticipation. Here we are in November, and let's see how things are going out east in the early season. Take a look at the Bulls. Things going their way so far in this season. Right now, they lead the pack up front in the first spot with the best record. And, of course, there's the Pistons. Not in the same realm right now in terms of their record.
And I think for the Pistons, they haven't attracted any serious attention here in the early season. It's been the kind of average start that most had predicted.
And after talking to some of the coaches and the players, they're not happy that they couldn't start off on a little bit more of a roll. But I think they're in fine shape with the bulk of the season still to come.
Let's check out Chicago's starting lineup. Levine and Williams up in the forward positions. Mr. Perfect out there with Kobe White. And it's Smith in at the 5 spot. And for Detroit, we've got Durant. Asar Thompson is out there with Isaiah Stewart. Then there's Marcus Sasser. And it's Beasley in at the shooting guard. And here's Thompson after the three-pointer from Mr. Perfect. To the paint. A shot for the Bulls. The overall approach has seemed to be steady as she goes. Stay in our lane. Business as usual. But do you think that'll continue?
And business has been good, Kevin. One of the best attendance rates in the league. But listen, this is a Bulls organization that has to figure out its right direction and see how they can continue to build and find a way to build from the ground up and reach new heights, whether it is going a more rebuilding route or more in the middle route versus going and really taking big swings. I think this is an organization that is very much trying to find their direction.
Oh, you're kind of setting the table. What could happen with this team? Good stuff. Here's Mr. Perfect. Malik Beasley making his last shot. And the 3-ball is good. And it's 8 points for Mr. Perfect. For Detroit, they've gone 2 of 3 here to start out the game. Now we'll go to David Aldridge, who had a chance to talk with head coach J.B. Bickerstaff.
I asked him what plan he had, if any, for Zach LaVine. He said, my focus is making sure he doesn't get any easy shots. We have to contest every attempt. It's about mitigating the damage, not preventing it. So it looks like he'll settle for just making LaVine work as hard as possible. Guys?
Thank you, David. And things can get so intense when NBA rumors start flying, Shams. You know that. The teams are just kind of holding on sometimes for dear life. What is it like when you break a major NBA story, like you've done numerous times?
It's like when your heart skips a beat, Kevin. It's like when you feel like you are in such a rush and there's a surge of excitement that hits every particle of your body. Every profession obviously has a big payoff, but everything happens so fast. But when it happens, it makes all the hard work worth it, but it certainly brings a great feeling, and I definitely get goosebumps to this day.
You get goosebumps, but the hard work you put in to get that story, I know what you guys go through. It is amazing the hours you spend on it.
365, 24/7.
Wow. And timeout called by J.B. Bickerstaff. He wants a minute here to get things straightened out with his team. And the Pistons making a change here. Hardaway's checked in. Now we have a chance to pay homage to the Eastern Conference Player of the Week, Mr. Perfect.
And what can you say about how huge he has been for this offense? Everything he's done, from the scoring, the shooting, the playmaking, you take him out of the lineup, and there's no telling just how different this team looks.
Hey, Shams, you're always on the pulse of those league-changing trades. We certainly saw some impactful ones last season.
Across the board, the Pacers, the Mavericks, they made deep runs, and they did so on the back of some big trade deadline moves. Those are transformations that excite all of us to witness. Even New York, getting OG Anunoby at the trade deadline. This is a league that's built on capitalizing at the moment and striking when the iron's hot, and we saw multiple teams do that this last season.
Yeah, that trade deadline was phenomenal for those teams you mentioned. Really impactful. And again, it's the Pistons missing. Chicago leading by 14. Lets it go with a three. And the Bulls, another three.
And the D has gotten a little bit laxed here defending the triple.
And there's the call on Mr. Perfect. That is his first foul of the game.
First team foul.
For the Pistons. So on the floor for Chicago to start the second quarter. They've got Torrey Craig. Also Zach LaVine out there. Jalen Smith is out there with Mr. Perfect. And it's Duarte in at the shooting guard position. And Detroit has possession. Following the three from Mr. Perfect. Hardaway for three. Cans it from downtown. Hardaway has got his first 3 points of the game.
Well, you can see it's a matter of pride out there for these guys.
Not always the best scenario, but in this game, pride takes over. You score on me, I'm going to come back and score on you.
Hey, Shams, it seems like with these younger teams coming, we may be witnessing a transfer of power in the NBA. What do you think?
It's really due to the parity that we're seeing in the league, and we haven't seen this much parity in a really long time. It's wide open for teams in both conferences, in the East and West, to claim that top perch. We have to give the league a lot of credit. There's tons of parity.
Which I think is leading to expansion talk, correct? We've got so much talent right now, we can kind of let it ooze out a little bit to some other areas.
Certainly expansion, a couple more teams in the league, but the league really loves where they're at now. And any given year, anyone can win.
Bulls making a switch here. Lights checked in, so we can't get either to fall. Pistons trail by 13. It's Thompson off the drive. Duarte grabs the board.
We'll have a hard time shaking that one off. Perfect position, plenty of space, just clanked it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe could have tried for a more memorable dunk than that one.
And we know he's capable of those memorable ones. Now, here's Thompson. Still without a basket. Well, we know it's been tough to win in Detroit for the Pistons. They've changed coaches again. Just 2 playoff appearances, Shams, in the last 15 years for this very proud and historic franchise. But there is, I feel, as you look at that franchise, hope. Do you see it as well?
No question, and it really starts with Cade Cunningham. I'm told the Pistons organization has all the confidence in the world in Cunningham. The first pick in the draft in 2021, he averaged 23 points, 8 assists per game, 6'6" point guard. Cunningham is someone the Pistons brass is very confident can be a franchise player, and he is their cornerstone moving forward.
He is a good starting point, I would agree. And with an update from the sidelines, let's check in with David Aldridge.
Kevin, Kobe White became one of the top candidates last season for Most Improved Player. He says, I always tried to just let the work show. I wanted to prove that I could be a starting guard in this league. I've just got to continue to get better every day, be aggressive, and be who I am. Kevin, back to you.
All right, D.A., love that attitude. And timeout called by J.B. Bickerstaff. And coach has decided they need a moment to talk things over. Duren, he's checked in for Detroit. Stewart comes in for Thompson. Fontecchio with it. Stewart up top, wide open. They get it back. Duren, and the layup's good off the glass. Duren's got his second basket of the game.
And Duren has that length to corral anything around the basket.
Lets the three fly, and again for three. You can tell he is feeling it.
Kevin, he's on fire.
Outside Hardaway, pass to Holland. And a little under 3.5 minutes elapsed in the second quarter of play. The Bulls leading by 23. Well, the latest CBA introducing the second apron, limiting, Shams, what teams above the cap can do. How does that new rule affect teams?
The decision makers tell me that they're very much keeping an eye on the second apron, not only of their team, but others, and teams that will have to shed salary because of the second apron and the amount of big contracts we're going to see teams give to players. You're going to see it at the top, but that may dwindle in the middle of their roster. But we will see a more competitive league because of these new CBA changes, and less of a chance of super teams and just more parity and dispersed talent.
Do you constantly read over some of these CBA agreements? I would assume that you do, to have a full understanding of terms like the apron, like we just talked about, or all the other things, the luxury tax, all the things that make deals possible.
It's one thing to have luxury tax. It's a whole nother animal now to have the second apron. And that, certainly for teams that are deep in the second apron, that limits their ability to go make major trades, to be able to sign players for more than the minimum. And we're seeing that happen to at least one or two teams around the league right now. So how will that impact things? But certainly the CBA being 50, 60, 70 pages, that's something you pour through before every calendar year.
It is just fascinating. And Shams, what an absolute delight it has been having you courtside with all of us tonight. Thank you so much for taking time to join us. It has been a true pleasure.
Thanks so much for the invite. I can't wait to do it again sometime. I'm honored, I'm privileged.
Oh, we are going to hold you to that. Thank you again. Always so much fun to have Shams join us. No one with a better pulse on the NBA.
Man, Shams is always the first guy to know about the big moves around the NBA. Love hearing what he has to say.
Here's Mr. Perfect. What an incredible scoring display he has put on tonight.
Man, the triples keep falling, guys. That's 3 in a row.
Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time taking the lid off. All the energy is on the other side right now, and every miss just makes it worse.
Well, the other team is scorching hot, and they come down on this end and can't find a way to get the embers going.
Now, Sasser, after the missed 3 from Mr. Perfect. Pistons passing it around. Duran with a screen on Levine. Detroit, no good that time either.
Well, they shouldn't be giving that shot to anyone, but they certainly shouldn't be giving it to him. That's a big break for the defense.
Here's Mr. Perfect. A three-pointer is right on target. Mr. Perfect's got 57 points.
So far, he's a can't-miss player, a superb scorer who plays to his strength.
And so it's the Chicago Bulls with a huge 37-point lead to end the quarter. The scoring has been tremendous, and they are shooting lights out with very high accuracy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Well, to be honest, a good shot for one person may not be a good shot for you. Each guy on this team has to understand his limitation.
Taking a peek now at the upcoming schedule.
And for that matchup with the Hornets, they'll be facing a team that's had a little better year. But this game is winnable if they bring the energy.
Oh, they're going to need more than energy, Kenny. There's a talent gap here.
Thanks for spending halftime with us.
And there wasn't too much drama in the first half, but maybe things will tighten up here in the second. We're seeing a tremendous game from Mr. Perfect.
And the bulk of his damage so far has come from the perimeter. A lot of threes early on.
Yeah, he keeps tracking down those spots behind the three-point line and finding some open opportunities.
We've got Asar Thompson, Isaiah Stewart out there with Jalen Duran. Then it's Malik Beasley, and it's Sasser in at the 1. And that's the group for J.B. Bickerstaff as we begin the second half. Greg, you've been a part of some great contending teams over the years, but what's it like being on a team at the bottom of the standings with not a lot of hope for the regular season?
Well, Kevin, no one likes losing, but it can certainly take a toll. But it can also allow you to play more freely when you know you're bad and you're not having to deal with the pressure of expectations. The edge on the glass is the difference. It's allowed them to build this lead.
Here's the 3, and good, he hits it again. He's been absolutely ridiculous in this game.
You get the sense he just can't miss.
Here's Sasser, and he converts the layup. Sasser's got his first basket.
And defensively, they are on their heels every time the ball comes inside.
Here's Mr. Perfect. No good on the triple.
Yeah, just the first miss of the half there. They have to be happy. 3 of 4 to start it off.
Pass to Sasser. Stewart down low. Kicks it out to Beasley. Duran with a screen on White. Beasley. And good as it just snugs right down through the net.
That's just tremendous scoring instinct. So fun to watch him work in the half court.
And Greg, for longtime Pistons fans, that Bad Boys era was so special.
I mean, Detroit's a tough, hard-working town, and those teams did have great talent led by Isaiah Thomas, but it was their physical, intimidating style of play that made them the Bad Boys.
Here's Mr. Perfect. Non-stop scoring machine here. Yet another bucket.
What a game. That's 72 points.
He's been simply, Greg, sensational throughout this one. Back to Sasser. It's Beasley on the wing. White covering. Here's Sasser. And he drops in the layup off the glass. Sasser's got his second basket of the night.
Look, if you're a big man that feeds the little guy, man, you deserve the ball back. Nice look from Stewart.
Here's Mr. Perfect. Connects again from distance.
Another three. I'm not sure I've seen a better three-point shooting night.
They just keep pouring in. This is a top 5 all-time single game for three-point shots made.
This feels like it's snowballed a little bit on them. The more he tries to shoot his way out of this slump, the worse it seems to be.
Good, another from 3.
It has been raining threes for him tonight, alone at 4th in the all-time single-game triples list.
Guys, he cannot miss. They have to keep feeding him, right? How many more can he hit? Let's keep counting. Time now to turn to our sideline reporter, David Aldridge. He connects again from distance.
And all game long, the threes have been pouring in for him. There is no stopping his shot.
And this is already a game he'll never forget. He's trying to make it a game that the world never forgets. Here's Duran. And contact on the shot, so he'll be shooting free throws here. And when you take a look at Jalen Duran, a big man. Ball here. The Pistons decide to talk it over. 1 second left in the 4th. Guys, what do you think?
Trying to keep hope alive, but I don't see them making a comeback.
Yeah, this is the classic too little, too late. The effort coming and not enough time for them to get back in it.
And so Chicago.
That's what I'm talking about.